thank all of you for being here again. I saw you yesterday. Just feeling great that you're all here because this is dear to your heart and a concern. But before we start, I just want to thank Pao Yang for providing a safe place for all of us to be here today, to have our meeting and also to share your concerns and to voice what's important to you. And so can we give an applause to Fresno Center and their team? And I also want to thank Pao Vang and his wife. Can we also give them an applause? And I know Pao has a group of folks who continue to support Pao with his work, Pao Vang. And Pao, can you stand up? Because I don't think a lot of people don't know who you are. Can you stand up? Yeah. He is the leader of the one who is putting all of this together. So I just want to recognize him for all the work he's been doing. I just happened to just come up here, but I want to say thank you to Pao because Pao put a lot of effort to making sure that you are here today, working with Pao Yang and myself to ensure that there's a space for you to be here to voice your opinion, to voice your feedback, and to share your thoughts and to share your knowledge to our community. So I just want to say thank you to all of you for being here today, and then I'm going to pass the mic over to Pao to get started. And then if you have a question, Pao is going to facilitate, and then I'll support him as needed. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Joe Manza. 我找呢，那么被提升居民进了天，但是过去么一度呢，除了要做 supervisor 呢多些呀，那么了公安到了工程界了，公多去到公备，但是了公拿被他那么也离开到那呀，supervisor Luis Chavez กู tax กู讨论些被他那点，也เป็น知道呢，นู่นนอทอมองเนี่ย被多的เนาะเช่กู provide ไปต่ออีกขอเธอเราไปชี้ฐานนะเกี่ยวกับที่ check ต่อกูตัว director เนาะเกี่ยวกับลีทอมองเนี่ยไปกูฮะรู้ห้องนอนกูฮะ available เนี่ยเกี่ยวกับที่ว่าหูเนี่ยจะวันนี้我只有กูที่จะได้ตัวนะ我找到คือเราอยากตู้เพราะว่าย้อนในสีเจอความบ้าจะเราจะมอตัวเทียเราไปจากที่นี่จะเสนอนอเทียตรงนั้นมุปตาเนี่ยจะตัวแต่สีจะตัวอย่างกูตื้อหักเทียมเป็นสีตัวอย่างแต่กูพาเราเนาะอย่าเล่นตื้อตัวที่นั่นเราเนี่ย supervisor Luis Chavez นั่นเนี่ยตัวนั่นชี้ตัวยอเรามุตชัวเราอย่าว่าชัวเราใส่ใจเนาะแล้วมันชี้หลังจากอย่าทำตื้อไปตัว vote yes เราจะใส่ใจเนาะนี่มุ่ง into effect after ไปจังทุกตัวอย่างแต่ Luis Chavez เราใช้จะอย่าสวัสดิ์นึกว่าเขาเลยจะเจ้าเขา Fresno County เลยจะโชว์จะจ่ายเนาะนะตัว supervisor เลยช่วยจะเรามุ่ง vote ซึ่งแล้วตัวตาแล้ว vote cho show cho trai nó vì thì mua cho bị sản tôi complain tôi là theo này cho nên cho cái xin giờ cho nên rồi cho nên bởi dù cái chống thong lại qua thế là bự chỉ tàu là sợ gió thong lại và rồi những người xuyên gió xiết là tôi complain cho tôi sheriff là tôi complain cho county supervisor là tôi complain cho tuân sai của họ cho county thì là thế là một show cho trai nó là một chưa cho họ dùng cái chống thong là hỗ trợ thế họ cho họ cho cái sinh trợ thiết này cái sava giờ tụ lo cho nó cũng phát lâu là giờ tụ sâu cho chạy này đó cái thầu lấy sâu cho chạy nó là cũng chỉ bao cho bé mong cái cái chạy là cũng chỉ bao hạt thì bé xí cái nó một to một cái chạy cho nó bé luôn nâng nè bé mong luôn nâng bé tụ cái bé cho cái những muốn nung kỳ cho bé trải nghiệm gì nè cái cho lù nó mà bé thả bé tận chế nếu như vậy cho lù rong hắn ít lên nó là thả bên chỉ nên cho ở cứ đi nên mà lù nông là ở tụ nó chỉ cho tua cho nó bé xí trả nữa cái tua nông bé hai lù cái ở tụ cho đặc một ba bé có ở xua cho bé có ở lù rong cho bé này bé nhớ trong lúc tích chờ và mừng bé tên này tên gì cho lão cho bé tụi nhau lúc tích chờ nó lúc nào vậy lúc tích chờ một trái lúc tích chờ mua một xua cho bé thì bé chỉ bé lúc xua thì chỉ bé chủ chỉ bé lúc xua một trò phần rong phần da phần do bé thì li đặng tàu luôn lúc xia luôn chữ là thì li qua li bé hại thế giờ bé có cư bé có qua bé có chỉ bé lúc đào lúc do lấy chính trai béแต่สิไปอยู่ว่าที่หายแต่อยากกับลุ้นเชอไปถ้าลุ้นเชออยู่ลงมากี่เกี่ยเสียจะไปหายมั่งถ้าเนื้อใจเนี่ยไปหลงเตาตอนเราอยู่มันหลงเจอไปสั่งแต่สิไปหาจีว่าใจใจไป bây chỉ qua ilu xua itu qua itu chủ thằng nó chơi bây qua họ tự là bây một chỉ tàu nè bây cho qua cứ đi bây sẽ đầu giờ ít chơi nè tây nhà tây chỉ những chữ thì bây mong lúc sợ nhà sợ chỉ qua bây giờ đi chơi nè sư lúc xí hở bây itu to cái trò nhẹ là do bây hai nâng thì bây hai mong nó rồi tại trái là một chú bây giờ chủ sở của ilu xua của trong xia hay là bỏ này sẽ là tua mà nó trong cha là mò thìแต่สิไปถอไปเฉลยว่าอีลูชัวน่ะอยากถออีตัวหายตาหรือตื้อหายอยู่จะรู้ละอยู่ท่อหายจีละรวดที่เป้าเดี๋ยวไปอยากอีลูชัวขอไปหมดที่ลูหอบเพียซื้อแต่สิไปหมดอีลูหอบเพียแต่สิไปหมดอีพาลูจื้ออีพาลูชัวจะชัวจีชีว่าโอเคเกี่ยวกับนั้นจีรวดตะการรวดไปเที่ยกุ้งจังเตาเดี๋ยวไปจะตัวมันนอยิ่งตีจอกาเชียเตาเที่ยnhưng sao cả tôi cho cái rong yêu phân cho bé hải mong cho bù luôn chỉ để trái cho là một chữ bé cho cái lý cái trái bé cho cái chân nè cái nhất là mình cả là bé more freedom of religion bé more freedom of bé có culture để cả là bao bé lần tư tại vì cũng chừng tao thì căn tu tai kỳ là do bao bé lần tư là do bao bé hải nên rong cho rong là do qua lên tới trái là cả là sẽ là nó bé thế cho chỉ là tòn gió xứ chỉ là chỉ tới cho trái là không bé chỉ tòn nó bé thả chỉ tòn nó bé cho nó cho quạt thả chỉ tòn nó bé cho bao ta thả chỉ tòn nó bé cho nhảy cho gì bao giờ bé cái là cái trái thả chỉ là qua trái nó là một chút bé là bây giờ cái cú rong xia hay thì chỉ mua mong người xem TV thuật Thái thì dàn trong thống mua Thái thì nó là chỉ là Thái thông ăn đồ cái tu yo hay lu rong tu yo hai lu chi rong là yo chữ tan cho nhớ trong Facebook pe cho cái tin này cha nên tua mà nó trong đó pe lu công hậu nó là nên sẽ là hai lu coi rong thiên tỏ pe công hậu nó pe in dấu xia khi họ trong đây lúc công hậu nó nên chỉ belong trong lần tư lúc công hậu nó nên belong trong pe cho lần sau tụ nè vì liên tới pe thì là khi họ trong đây giờ cho pe sừng cho nên cho gì nhau lúc gì lúc rong tua xí chỗ lúc xí hở thì cú họ cho tàu cho nó chữ nó tua gì bé một cái nhiều sinh sản xia thật sinh lý cả là bé thả rồi rong thả măng đầu lợn lên thì liền cả xia thì họ bé cái chờ thì bây giờ cái bao xua để lên thì liền dùng một kho là do lông cả tàu là trái là kho là một ba tàu bé thế này with no further ado I was just basically talking about the two of you mostly good nothing negative but really identifying and explaining to our Hmong community who you are. County Supervisor Luis Chavez, one of 5 county supervisors who will be voting on this ordinance next Tuesday. And then Sabat is one of the staff that work for the Fresno County. They're the ones that are in charge of all the complaints, the nuisance and everything, and they're in charge of also writing these ordinance. And then they give it to the supervisors, and the supervisor just votes on it. But it is so crucial and so important to have a supervisor here, and then also the people that are writing these ordinances here also, so they can hear the impact or the negative impact that it's going to have on our Hmong community based on the ordinance of the chicken or the rooster, and how the rooster plays a very pivotal part in our Hmong religion and our Hmong culture. And it's not just rooster, it's the type of roosters from their head to their feet, their toes. We look at that as a very religious piece in our religion. And as we mentioned yesterday to Josh, who represents Supervisor Magzik's office, we have over 60,000 Hmong residents in the Central Valley. You know, and I can't just say Fresno and then Clovis. It's all the cities here in Central Valley. We live here. And the rooster, the chicken, is a vital part of who we are. And for those of you that are non-Hmong who goes to our Hmong event, you've been to at least a blessing, a hand tying ceremony, the chicken is involved, the rooster is involved. For those of you that have been to any of our funerals or New Year, the chicken's involved. For those of you that have seen when we have a newborn child, a chicken, a rooster is involved. What we didn't mention yesterday is that in our culture, for 30 days during the maternity, if after labor, our wives, they have to eat nothing but chicken broth. The chicken, we have to kill the chicken and cook it and boil it for them. But it's just not any chicken. We look at the comb of the chicken, we look at the feet of the chicken, the feather of the chicken, the size of the chicken, the age of the chicken. That's our culture, that's our religion. And I mentioned to Josh yesterday before we end the meeting is, this ordinance, as we look more and more into it, it feels like it's an ordinance to punish us because of our religion and our culture. And I don't think there's any ordinance within the county that is there to punish or to penalize somebody or an ethnic group's religion or culture. And we really want to express that is a concern of ours. Our community is here, and I know that it's just not our Hmong community, but community of all colors are impacted by this particular ordinance. And a lot of the folks that were here yesterday were very upset, very disappointed that they weren't involved from the beginning when this ordinance was being drafted. They feel blindsided. They feel like, somebody who doesn't like them because of who they are. I even hear them saying it's a Republican thing. I don't think it is, but this is what happens when, as elected officials or a county office, when you guys are drafting ordinance and rules that are going to come in and folks are supposed to follow, but you don't include them in the process. You don't have listening sessions, and you don't really try to understand the people that are in your community, then this happens. And it's not just our Hmong community. We're speaking on behalf of, as a citizen of this county, and this has a huge impact. I didn't know the depth of this impact until last night, and then the stories that each of the folks here were talking and sharing. And initially, I was going to only be the one speaking, but when I started hearing their stories, it's a lot more impact than I thought. And I want you guys to understand, and I know that the two of you are here because you care. You're here because you're here to help us. You're not here to tell us or to penalize us. And I know, Luis, we voted for you because you're our voice, so this is when we need you the most. With the elected official, our Hmong community believe that we support you because we know you're going to voice our concern and you're going to take care of us, right? And at the city level, it was just city. Now you're at the county level, and we're expecting a lot more from you. In our Hmong culture, we talked about anybody representing us and supporting us. You hold an umbrella to protect us when it rains or to protect us when it shines, right? And that's you. You have that umbrella, and this is what we need you. We need all the elected officials to at least listen to us, and to have you here to listen to us. Money can't buy that. We hope and we wish that other elected officials can come and listen to us in our community as well, especially when they're drafting new ordinance for our community to control us. And I know that it's to help us, right? I know that everything is meant to help your constituents. But if you don't talk to your constituents, then you're not helping your constituents when you draft these ordinances because you don't know who they are, you don't understand how the impact is going to be, and you don't know the livelihood of these folks. And a lot of I think here in America is when we have service animal. And a lot of our elders here from the Secret War raise chickens and rooster as a therapy session as well. And don't let us get into it. There's so much that we're trying to do to help our community. And there's so much that a lot of the folks out here who raise these chickens and rooster is to help them as well. It's a service animal for them. Not only the cultural, the ritual, the religion. And you'll hear from a lot of them, but I just want to kind of give you guys a summary or a synopsis of what we talked about yesterday and the concern that they have. But a lot of them do feel blindsided. A lot of them are very upset. They're ready to come out on Tuesday and hold up picket signs and to vote you guys out of office. I mean, you, not Seva. But that's the community, right? And they're expressing their frustration. I think their frustration is feeling the dishonesty that's happening to them. It may not be, but that's how they feel. And remember, perception is reality to them. So I want you guys to understand that. I know, Luis, you're a friend. Savat, you're a friend of mine. I know the two of you. That's why you guys are here. But you guys can take whatever is being said here back. Believe me, guys, I don't want to be there on Tuesday. Nobody wants to be there on Tuesday, right? Okay, we don't want to be there. Our community is like that. How many times have you seen the Hmong community out there with the picket sign? None. Because we follow the rule, we follow the law. But this is the first time when we feel like the ordinance is stepping on our religion and our culture, and we're stepping up and we're trying to voice ourselves, but we still do it through the right channels. And I'm happy that my community is here. I'm also very happy that the two of you, my friends, you're here, and hopefully you guys can really get something going for us. And hopefully there's no vote on Tuesday. Let's continue the conversation until we come up with something that will fit all of us, right? Yeah. So with that, I turn the mic to Luis.
Thank you, Pao, for the introduction, and thank you to Myra and our community leaders for voicing their concerns. And let me just, right off the bat, on behalf of the Fresno County Board of Supervisors, apologize. This should not have caused any angst or anxiety for our community. That was not the intent. I want to make sure that our community understands that. I did not sponsor this item. My colleague sponsored this item, and it came as a result of multiple complaints, challenges with cockfighting rings, with illegal gambling, with things of that sort. So I just want you to know that your community, our community, was never the intent to hurt or cause any anxiety. And now that Pao has, put everybody together, I think we can have a conversation about how do we get to a practical solution that addresses those challenges that we are trying to address without making our community feel that we are somehow infringing upon their religious freedom, their spiritual and their daily lives. That is not the intent that we want to. I think you all know me well enough to know that I would never support anything that does that to our community. So let me start the conversation there. About 2 days ago, I got a couple calls from our Hmong community leaders, voicing concern over this, and I will say right now, we should have done a better job of doing the outreach to our community and making sure that we understood what the implications of this are. And the way I see this now, this is a lot of the unintended consequences that happen when we don't do enough of the outreach for our community. I know there was a meeting yesterday. A lot of the issues that we're going to talk about today were discussed, but what I would like to see for our community today is for you to, one, voice your opinion, your concern. I want to hear that, but more importantly, at the end, get to the point where we can actually get to some solutions, whether that looks like an exemption for ritual and religious ceremonies. I'm open to that and incorporating some of that language in here. The fees also that we've addressed here, I'm open to compromise for that. And then we also have, by the way, I had a bunch of meetings this afternoon. I canceled them all to make sure that I was here because I wanted to make sure that I listened to what you were saying. And on that note, I called our CAO. Sebag works for the County Administrative Officer, and so he's been in charge of working. I'm going to have him come up and say a few words on that. But all that to say, I really want to hear your input. I'm here to listen, but more importantly, I'm here to come up with some solutions. I will not support anything that the community is not in support of. I just want you to know that for Tuesday. So with that, Sebag, could you come up and just kind of give an overview of what the ordinance is, and then I'd love to hear from our residents on what are their concerns and some possible solutions to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Chavez and Mr. Pao. Mr. Pao, thank you for calling this meeting in order. It's important for us to do this, and it's important for us to hear you and what your comments are on this ordinance. I just want to say that the first reading was last board meeting. So although the first reading passed, this is not the law yet. There still needs to be a second hearing and then 30 days after the second hearing. So this is a very good time for us to have this meeting and listen to your concerns on this ordinance. So as was mentioned by Supervisor Chavez, the county has been receiving complaints specifically regarding roosters, not chickens, roosters. During the board meeting last time, I don't know how many of you watched it, but there were several people who spoke in favor of a rooster ordinance. One of the families even put on a recording of the rooster noise that they have to live next to. So the ordinance as it is right now, and again, we could talk about, your suggestions, how to make this work for everybody is, it started with 10 roosters and then a permit for 11 to 24 roosters. And then during the board meeting, one of the commenters said, why 10, drop it to 5. And so as the ordinance is right now, 5 roosters and below, you're okay on a single property. From 6 to 24 roosters is when you would need a permit. And the folks that are gonna be doing the permitting is the Public Health Department through their animal control contract. There are some exceptions to the rooster limit for 4-H, Future Farmers of America, educational poultry projects, stuff like that. And then the other thing is tethering. So the ordinance prohibits any tethering of the rooster. That means tying of the rooster. So those are kind of the basics. The permit fees, so there's a annual permit fee of $240 with a one-time administrative fee of $440. Those fees were created based on cost, so there's no revenue being generated to the county for that. They're the costs of, the permit, the process, and stuff like that. So several counties in California do have a rooster ordinance like this. In drafting this, we looked at several other of the counties and their ordinances, and that's how we kind of came up with this. But again, I just want to emphasize that, I know I was asked earlier who sponsored this and, who are the people that put this together. It passed the first reading, but not the second reading yet. So I don't want you to think that the people who sponsored this were, specifically targeting certain groups or anything like that. Absolutely not. It's the complaints that were received specifically for roosters. And so this was one of the solution options. And again, I thank you all for being here. This room is packed and it's 2:30. It shows the passion that you all have for this topic. So again, Fresno Center, we appreciate you doing this. Mr. Powell, Supervisor Chavez, thank you. I know you had a busy day today, but you cleared your schedule to be here. And so for that, we're appreciative. And we just want to hear from you. So if we do get complaints, and we've got dozens of them regarding specifically roosters and the noise of the roosters, how can we make an ordinance that will work well with the community and those who are also complaining and that are part of the community? We just want to figure out, okay, how can we kind of work on this together? And so that's why we're here. I know last night Josh was here with Supervisor Magzig's office. Supervisor Magzig had another engagement that he absolutely couldn't get out of, or else he would have loved to be here as well. And so we're trying to figure out how do we work together and accomplish the goal of those parties also that are bringing this concern to the county as well. So that's why we're here. At this point, I'm really done talking. I want to hear from you. We want to hear some of your comments, some of your feedback, and things that we can work together on in making this work for the rest of the county residents. So again, thank you for being here.
Mayor, you want to come and get the mic? We'll pass the mic around, Savad, but what you read and everything, Josh read the same thing yesterday. So to this crowd, they're almost oblivious to it because they heard about it. I don't want to pour water on it, but for these folks here, it's almost like, hey, why do we even have these ordinances? Why are we getting punished because a neighbor or two is complaining, right? Well, if those folks are complaining, deal with those folks. If somebody is running or speeding or running a red light, give them a ticket. Why are you punishing everybody that's going through that same street a ticket, right? And then when you have a community that uses that rooster for religious and cultural purposes, if we feel like we're being attacked, we feel like we're being silenced, we feel like we're being discriminated against. So that's how they feel. That's why they're quiet. And our community is very humble. We're not combatant, but we also can stand up as well, especially when you talk about culture and religion practices. And we get that nuisance, we get the cockfighting is illegal, we get that. We get that killing people is illegal, we get all of that. Punish those people with the rule of laws that we already have in place, but then don't punish the people that have not committed those crimes. you know, and you're punishing us for raising chicken for religious purposes, and you're punishing us for raising chickens for food, you're punishing us for our religious belief, you know, that it's unheard of, and that's why the community is here. And, you know, I don't want to pour any water on what you said and all that, but we read the article, the ordinance yesterday. Josh read it in detail, and I know, but I love for our community to also share some of what we share with Josh, with the two of you can hear how we feel as well. So, bây giờ cái tin cha đó, sẵn nó bây hai là cái này cho họ thả nằm mò, này họ đã có một cái lũ này cho là một hai,แต่สิวันนี้ปตากวายนะbây hai mũi sầnนะbây hai mũi sầnในthả là thả khó cóย่อตรงแล้วhọใจnó họ bây lũ họ kiaย่อchỉ xa cả là mộtใจnó là không bây cái nút thứ gì là yếu là một vôใจnó nút thứ gì bây thì chỉ xa cả mua nút thứ gì bây xa cảใจnó là chủ trời lấy chỉ tao mua đượcตัวปัจจัยlà lấy chủต่อnó bây thản gìต่อnó bây shala họ giờ sai đi nó sẽ bây cụ tự cho tao cho chú ý rồi rong trâu lớn thế nào bây xa cả là nó bây ở bây từ giờ bố ta thả bây họ còn này giờ này một gì mua cho chú ý rồi bây mua cho chú ý này cho là một tăng trâu lớn thế này còn là thế này là một ba tao bây lưu mong community thế này cho do hai lưu thằng đây nó chỉ mạnh giờ mà không lưu mạnh được cho nên từ từ do hai này sẽ trả tay tại sinh chọn trong giờ ít thứ hai cho lưu lợi có sao hai được cho bố lưu tới lưu chú ý chia là một hai gõ từ bên ngoài cái thế đến cả chia bây lưu họ tiền áวันนี้ฉันจะ